soon. I wanted to tell you about our judge today. Our judge is Max Petzenhauser. He went to Blackhawk East as junior college and is now a senior at Western Illinois. He runs a small sheep and goat operation with his dad from Roland, Iowa. So please welcome Max to our ring today. We also will have our Princess and Miss Congeniality around the ring. Our princess this year is Emma Cole. She will be a senior at Highland. Her parents are Kyle and Whitney Cole, and after graduation, she plans to attend the University of Iowa for exercise science. So welcome to our ring, Emma Cole. Our Miss Congeniality is Haley Plank. She also will be a senior at Highland this year. Her parents are Rod and Tammy Plank, and after graduating from Highland, she wants to attend Capri Cosmetology. So we welcome the girls with us today. Another thing is KCTC will be live streaming this. At the top of your programs is the live stream link, and so you can want to tell your friends and family about that. We certainly appreciate KCTC's generous support, so let everybody know about that. Our first class is the commercial breeding yearling ewes. In the ring, we have Adeline Houston, Hunter Barnes, Cooper Barnes, and Ella Lay. You will notice all of our exhibitors wearing really nice t-shirts, and we would like to recognize and thank Federation Bank for their sponsorship of the 4-H t-shirts for each and every member this year. So thank you, Federation Bank.
Really nice class to start out here today. And I thought there was a pair up top that were pretty interesting. Still being this mature, I think this one first here handles really well. I think she's square. When she gets on the move, she keeps her spine level. I think this is one that's just hard to poke a lot of holes in. We get down here to second, and this natural just wants to get up a little bit in her spine, wants to get a little bit shorter about her hip, but you put your hands on her, she still handles really well. Wish we could drop her a little bit in her flank and add a little foot and bone. Still a really nice one to be second. And then the young lady we have out here in third. For a Whiteface, this one actually has some pretty good progression of muscle. I think there's some pretty good progression of width. I just wish on the move would relax in her spine just a little bit, and wish she came a little bit better from a conditioning standpoint. And then here in fourth, this is still a really nice fundamental lamb. Still plenty square, good in terms of her condition, good in terms of her lines. Just on the move, wants to roach in her spine ever so slightly, handles with the least amount of power. But put your hands together for a really nice class.
Our champion commercial breeding ewe was shown by Ella Lay. The banner is sponsored by the Bill Andrake family. And our reserve today was shown by Hunter Barnes, and his banner is sponsored by Ron and Louise Schmidt's family. We certainly thank all of our sponsors. There are several of them that sponsor all of our lovely banners and trophies. Currently in the ring are our purebred ewe lambs, shown by Lexton Fisher and Javen Davis.
Interesting pair of ewe lambs here. I think the young man does an exceptional job showing this one in terms of look from the side, handle, width, moving. I think this one wins very easily. If I could pick on him just a little bit, wants to get a little bit flexible spined, wants to get a little bit looser while on the move, but I still think she's a really nice one to start out. Young lady that comes out here in second still has a really nice slam. In terms of her look, just wish was a little bit longer in terms of her hip. Wish she moved with a little bit more fluidity, and in terms of her handle, just got a little outpowered. But put your hands together for a really nice class.
Our champion purebred ewe lamb was shown by Lexton Fisher. The banner is sponsored by Farmers Elevator and Exchange of Kelowna. And our reserve purebred ewe lamb was shown by Javen Davis, and her banner is sponsored by Kevin and Danielle Schultz. Currently in the ring is our white and speckled face commercial breeding ewe class, Class 1. In the ring is Emerson Lyle, Eliana Hahn, Afton Houston, Bryn Conrad, and Caden Houston. It takes many, many people to run a show like this, so I want to give a shout out to all the people that are helping. In the red shirts are Bridget Niebel-Litweiler, Ted Greiner, and Todd Schmitz. Also helping around the ring is Caitlin Waters. In the barns is Pam Davis. We have Dawn Andrag, Shauna Siren, Clara Schmitz, Charlie Stoutner, Scott Siren, Haley Schultz, Kevin Schultz. So thank you to everybody who is helping out today.
Really interesting pair up top here, and I wanted to use a little bit safer, a little bit more fundamental pick here. And now I don't think either of these two are perfect, but when it comes to handle, keeping a spine level, and actually having some foot, bone, and proportion in terms of her freshness, in terms of her condition, I think this one's really nice. Now this white-faced one gets me excited because I see the potential in this one. She's still very green, but so long, big-legged, giraffe-necked, can keep a somewhat level spine while set up, but wants to get a little bit up there in the move. I just like to drop her down in her flank. I'd like to see another 30 pounds added onto her. One that we have out here in third's probably one of the best handling of the class. Really ripped up in terms of her rack shape, and feeds that down into her loin pretty well. I just wish she came together in terms of her foot and bone. I just wish she came with a little bit more power, a little bit more punch to talk her into the top two. Now the one that we have in fourth, still fundamentally a really good lamb, square, level, just a little bit on the move, wants to get up in her spine, wants to get a little over conditioned for us today. And the young man that we have out here in fifth just gets a little bit outsized, really nice use, still square Still square, good touching. Still square, good touching, and good on the move. I just wish she came with a little bit more size and mass, but put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning that class is Afton Houston. Second place was Caden Houston. Going down in your program, it was 5, 3, 1, 4, 2. Coming into the ring now is our white and speckled face commercial breeding ewe class. Amelia Rogers, Adeline Houston, Lexton Fisher, Morgan Nafzinger, and Cooper Barnes are currently in the ring. I want to recognize Adeline Houston, who is in this class, as well as Morgan Nafzinger. Adeline is from the Lime Creek Livewires, and Morgan is from the Bows and Bullets 4-H Club, and both of them received the Sheep Project Awards at the 2024 Awards Night. They excelled in personal sheep projects, learning, workshop, and leadership experiences. So congratulations to Adeline and Morgan, who are currently in this class. For those people that have currently sat down to watch the show, our judge today is Max Fetzenhauser. He went to junior college at Blackhawk East, is currently a senior at Western Illinois. He and his dad run a small sheep and goat operation in Roland, Iowa. So we welcome Max to be with us today.
interesting class we have right here. The one that starts out is just probably a little bit better handling, maybe gives up a little bit of look from the side, gives up a little bit of mass. But I mean, put your hands on this one and wow. I think this one has a lot of room to grow. I think from the side, she looks, she's still plenty level, still long neck. If we can get her to push just a little bit harder, I think it'll help her run uphill. She wants to get a little bit lower in her shoulder at times. Still a really good one to start out with. One here in second wants to get up a little bit in her spine, and that's fine because we're seeing that in a lot of these classes. It's okay. It just got a little bit much for me. On top of that was just a little bit short about her stride out of her front end to talk for first. She'd just have to walk better. But in terms of touch, look, width, I think this one is pretty special. I think I put my hands on her, and she's the third hardest handling in the class. Just wants to get a little over conditioned for me today. Still a really good one for second. Now the young man's darker sheep we have out here in third, really good looking from the side. Wants to get on the move, stays dead level in through her spine, has some width about her. My only problem is just gets a little over conditioned, was just a little chunky, just didn't handle with the same kind of quality as the two ahead of her. Now the young man out here in fourth probably has the hardest handling one, most width about his chest. I think this one is tubular in terms of his rib. I think he looks really good. My only problem just on the move, wants to fall out of bed, wants to round out of his hip ever so slightly. Now the one we have out here in fifth, fundamentally really good lamb, dead level. I just wish we had a little bit more foot and bone, wish we had a little bit more handle quality. The young man out here has a really nice handling lamb. Just wish in terms of her chest she was a little bit higher off the ground. I wish that she was a little bit longer in terms of her neck and youthful in terms of her hide and skin. But put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning that class was Morgan Nafsinger. Second place was Adeline Houston. So we will now be bringing the winners from those last two classes out to determine the champion white or speckled face commercial breeding ewe. In that last class, going down in your program, 4, 5, 2, 3, 1, 6. Currently in the ring is the winner from the first class, which is Afton Houston. With reserve was Caden Houston. Then we have Morgan Nafsinger and Adeline Houston.
the two we have out here are real nice. And I'm all right with taking a little bit of a risk and using a little bit of a skinnier, greener one today. I think in terms of her length of hip, she's pretty special. I think she still has some feedability, and she handles with the most shape out of all of them out here. She's a pretty nice one to win. I'd like to see her around state fair time. Now the one that we have out here in second, just kind of outpowers in terms of muscle mass over the top side of her shoulder, works that back and through her hind saddle. I think she does just get a little over conditioned for me today, but and gets a little bit up in her spine when she's on the move. But in terms of proportion, balance, handle, this one's a really nice one.
Our champion white or speckled face commercial ewe lamb was shown by Morgan Nafzinger. Her banner is sponsored by the Hills Bank and Trust Company. Our reserve today was shown by Adeline Houston, and her banner is sponsored by Haley Schultz. So champion Morgan, reserve Adeline. In our ring is our first class of Blackface commercial breeding ewe lambs. We have Rena Lyle, Covert Griner, Emerson Flynn, Ella Lay, and Cassidy Merrick. Once again, I want to recognize KCTC for their generous gift to live stream all the shows. That link is listed on the show program, so you can tune in for other shows this week. We appreciate their generous support. Families and friends around the world get to enjoy this year. You can enjoy the show again by following the link at the top of the show program to see all previously recorded Washington County Exhibitor Fair livestock shows on the KCTC YouTube channel. So thanks again to KCTC so others at home can enjoy the show as well.
Really nice class here to start out. This young lady who's got the sheep right here, I think in terms of balance, in terms of condition, freshness, how tall and concise she is out of her shoulder, how hard she handles. She's just got a lot of pieces that are hard to beat. She gets on the move, and she doesn't have much problem. I think this one is a no holes kind of sheep to start out with. The one that comes out here in second, maybe just giving up a little bit in terms of power, in terms of width, maybe needs to drop in her flank just a little bit more. I still think this is a really fresh, really hard handling lamb. Wish she was just set back in the angle of her shoulder ever so slightly, but I think this is a really nice top pair to start out with. The young lady that has her ewe lamb here in third, I mean, you want to talk about power. This thing is robust, wide, super good on the move, athletic, and keeps a level spine. Just wish she was a little bit more up off the ground for me. Just wants to get a little bit shorter, but in terms of proportion from the side and power, this one's pretty special. The young lady that we have out here in fourth, really good looking lamb from the side, jet level, and probably one of the hardest handling, biggest backed ones out here. My only problem is wants to give up a little bit in terms of a foot bone on the move. I see that spine deviate ever so slightly. Just wish she came with a little bit more chub and muscle to fight those top three. But the darker lamb that we have out here in fifth just wants to wash ever so slightly out of her loin. Wish she came with just a little bit more width, and wish she gave up or didn't give up so much balance from the side in terms of her flank. Really nice sheep. Put your hands together for an awesome class.
Winning our first class of Blackface commercial breeding ewe lambs was Rena Lyle. Second place was Covert Griner. Third was Emerson Flynn. So going down your program, believe it or not, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming into the ring is our second class of Blackface commercial breeding ewe lambs. In the ring is Amelia Rogers, McKinley Davis, Bryson Davis, Ella Griner, Connor Lay, and Luke Adam.
interesting one we start out with. And just like some of the problems we've had before, this one just needs to drop her flank a little bit, but still one of the hardest handling ones, one of the better moving ones. She's so long up off the ground and, you know, remains feminine. Her handle feels like a wether. She wants to wash out a little bit in her loin. She has shape from the side. She just needs to drop a little bit to balance up. Now the one we have out here in second, still really nice lamb in terms of bone density, robustness, progression of muscle and width. Once again, just wish she was a little bit more up off the ground for me. Wish we could level out her dock feeding into her rump line. Wish she was a little bit more feminine as the one ahead of her. Now the one that we have out here in third, still a really fundamental, good lamb. Think this one handles well. Think this one's plenty wide, good bodied, and still pretty fresh. Just wish she was a little bit more exotic fronted. Wish she was a little bit youthful in terms of her neck. Wish she had the same kind of power as the one that was in second. Now the one that we have out here in fourth, I'm really high on, still fundamental. I just thought got a little bit closed up in terms of her hip, a little bit closed up in terms of her chest relative to the ones ahead of her. Still has some topside spread, and as you add weight onto her, she will widen up. Still really nice, good handling, fresh one. Just doesn't come with the same kind of power as the ones ahead of her. The young lady that we have out here in fifth, still really nice lamb, wide in terms of her pin set, wide in terms of her chest. We like those things. Really good bodied one. Just wants to get a little over conditioned for me today, but wants to get a little bit straighter in terms of her shoulder going down into her knee. Still a really nice one to have out here. And then the young man here to round out the class. Just wish we had a little bit more foot and bone. Really nice bodied sheep. My only problem is wanted to handle just a little bit softer in comparison to everything up there. Wanted to round a little bit out of her hip. But put your hands together for a really good class.
Winning class 2 of our Blackface commercial breeding ewe class was Ella Greiner. Second place was Connor Lay. Going down in your program, 5, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3. Our third class of Blackface commercial breeding ewe lambs coming into the ring will be Jack Greiner, Adeline Houston, Callie Brink, Ava Greiner, Bryn Conrad, and Ella Lay. You will notice that Ava Greiner is wearing a gray polo shirt. That is showing that this is her final year of showing sheep. She is a graduated senior from Kyoto. The gray shirts are sponsored by Woodoff Farm Supply. So if you see any others with gray shirts, that signifies that this is their last year in the ring.
I apologize for taking my time on this class, but when the quality runs this deep, that's just how it goes. This top three was pretty difficult for me because there's a lot of give and take here. If I'm going to nitpick on this one, she needs dropped in her flank. She needs filled in over her loin just to help her in terms of her balance. And she comes a little bit heavier in terms of condition than what I'd like. Wish she'd handle just a little harder, but I think when it all comes together of overalls, she probably keeps or consistently checks the most boxes. That's a really nice one to start out with. The one in second, maybe a little bit cooler, leveler over the dock, has a lot better balance from the side, and the density of bone and hair on this thing is crazy. It's just in terms of the handle, I just thought was a little bit softer. I thought this one was also just a little bit over conditioned to my liking. Really nice lamb in second though. The young man's lamb here in third is still current, cool, barrel ribbed, jet level. I wish she came with a little bit more size to rival the two in front of her. I think this one handles really nicely. Probably one of the more trimmer of the top three, just in terms of balance from the side, wants to give up a little bit. The young lady that we have out here in fourth, fundamentally really good lamb in terms of balance, in terms of handle, in terms of touch, width to the ground. My only problem, on the move, she wants to roach ever so slightly, and as she gets on the move and then gets on the standstill, the longer we're in here, the more she wanted to roach up. Same problem with the one that we have out here in fifth. I think in terms of touch, I think in terms of tone, in terms of cover over the lamb, this is one of the better ones. Just on the standstill, wants to roach ever so slightly. The one that we have out here to round out the class, I think really nice fundamental lamb, stays level while on the move, really good handling, just fell out of bed in terms of balance and bone. But put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning our third class of Blackface commercial breeding ewes was Ava Greiner. In second place was Ella Lay. So going down in your program, 3, 5, 4, 1, 6, 2. We now have in the ring class 4 and our final drive of Blackface commercial breeding ewe lambs. In the ring is Amelia Rogers, Emma Greiner, Ella Greiner, Ava Greiner, Hunter Barnes, and Morgan Lichty.
Really nice class here. And there's a very tough trio here, and you can put it any way you want it. But for me, when we're talking about shape that'll breed into the next generation, male or female, this seems like that one. In terms of density of bone, squareness, look from the side. Now wants to get a little bit up in her spine on the move, but hey, that's a sheep for you. More of them do it than don't. The one that we have out here in second just wants to get a touch over condition for me, wants to get a little bit frailer about her bone. But I think in terms of femininity, I really like this one's 1/3. I really like this one's balance from the side. I like this one in through her hip. It's a really nice one for second. The one that we have out here in third, still punchy over her rib. She's square in terms of her loin. I think in terms of balance standpoint, she looks really good out here. I wish we could level out her hip just a little bit, feeding into her rump line. Wish this one handled with a little bit more authority like the ones ahead of her. Now this natural ewe that we have out here is really long and extended, really round over her rib and works that back into her fill. Just wish this one handled with the same kind of power that we saw in that top trio. And then the young lady that we have out here has a really nice lamb, square over the top side of its rack. Still really good fundamental square. Just wanted to get a little over condition for me today. The young man to round out the class, just wish we could be a little bit more exotic in our front, but this is a really good lined lamb. I think this one handled really well in terms of her condition. Really good, put your hands together for a really good class.
Winning class 4 was Ella Greiner. Second was Ava Greiner. So going down in your program, 5, 3, 1, 2, 6, 4. We will now be showing for our champion and reserve Blackface commercial breeding ewe lamb. In class 1, winning was Rena Lyle, and second was Covert Greiner. Class 2, winning was Ella Greiner. 2 was Connor Lay. Class 3, Ava Greiner winning, Ella Lay as reserve. And in our final class, Ella Greiner in first, Ava Greiner in second. I want to remind any and all exhibitors and parents that any of the champions, as they leave the ring, the journal is here to take pictures. So please help them out by getting your picture taken for the journal. Champion and reserve.
Now the one that I have starting out here again, in terms of everything that is out here, handles as one of the hardest, is one of the widest, still good in terms of her foot, bone, freshness, look. There's a lot of things to like about this ewe lamb. Now it got pretty tough for second. The one out of D2, I think, just got a little bit radical for me. This one felt just a little bit safer, a little bit smoother over her body. Still need to drop her in terms of her flank, fill out her loin ever so slightly. That's a really good one for second. Put your hands together for an incredible Blackface drive.
Our champion Blackface commercial ewe lamb was shown by Ella Greiner. Our reserve Blackface commercial ewe lamb was shown by Ava Greiner. Now in the ring, we will be determining our supreme breeding sheep. We will do a champion, a reserve, third, fourth, and fifth. In the last class, I forgot to mention that the banner for the Blackface commercial champion was sponsored by the Bill Andrake family and the reserve by Haley Schultz. In this class, our champion banner will be sponsored by the Sprouse Family Club Lambs, and they will also be getting a Supreme Champion Breeding ewe belt buckle by Greiner Club Lambs. The reserve banner is sponsored by Premier Supplies LLC, and the reserve will be getting a Champion Breeding ewe canvas bag by Greiner Club Lambs. So again, we want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors that give donations for the banners and other supplies that go to the kids.
Well, this is a really quality drive, and I'd like to thank the show and fair committee for having me out here. This is a really special show. Coming here last year, I saw the depth and the quality, and I felt very thankful to be able to judge this. I was hoping my father could be here today to help me sort it. We usually like to sort things together. We see things pretty similarly. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, so I'm more than happy to take over. I'll say that much. I'll keep it short and sweet. I've been out in these drives. I know how tired we get. If you can't tell, I'm already pretty hot right now. And it only got worse when I started showing. So champion, we're going to have our Blackface, and second for reserve. I think these two, in terms of squareness, width, muscle, I think they're just head and shoulders above many of the ewe lambs I've seen this year. We're going to have this white face out here in third. I think in terms of levelness, staying level in through her hip, still having some shape, having some balance from the side. This one's pretty special. And fourth, we're going to have the young man right here. I think in terms of proportion, this is a really nice sheep. Wish we could relax her just a little bit in terms of angle of her blade, give her a little bit more bone. This is still a really nice one for fourth. We'll have the young lady out here for fifth. I think that one's a really nice balanced up lamb, handles really well, hard to poke a hole in him, but put your hands together for a really good drive.
In our Supreme breeding sheep, the champion was Ella Greiner. Reserve went to Ava Greiner. Third overall was Morven Knapsinger. Fourth was Lexton Fisher. And fifth overall was Adeline Houston. In our lamb carcass results, the kids will be coming out in order. They will not be bringing their lambs. Their lambs were scanned. Our champion today is Cameron Tusing. He had an average daily gain of 0.83. Second place was Luke Adam. He had an average daily gain of 0.77. Third is Covert Greiner with a gain of .63. Then Morgan Lichty, .65. Hunter Barnes, and then we'll go on down from there. Rochelle Lichty, Javen Davis, Adeline Houston, McKinley Davis, Dylan Lehman, Rochelle Lichty, Morgan Nafzinger, Kaylee Penfield, Afton Houston, Bryn Conrad, Emma Alderton, Bryson Davis, Amelia Rogers, Kata Greiner, and Lila Greiner. That is our Carcass results. Good job. We will be recognizing the top 10 rate of gain at the very end of the show. So it is different than in your program. It'll be at the end of the show. We will be recognizing the top 10 rate of gain. If anybody would like the cut sheets results, any of the family members from those that were out there, we have them up here, and our lovely princesses and Miss Congeniality will be coming around with those. Our princess is Emma Cole. She'll be a senior at Highland. The parents are Kylie and Whitney Cole. And our Miss Congeniality is Haley Plank. She also will be a senior at Highland, and her parents are Rod and Tommy Plank. So just flag them down if you would like a cut sheet for the Fair Lamb Carcass results. And everybody tells me that we're going to take a break right now, so 5-minute break or so. Relax for just a minute. We need to get kids and lambs organized. I forgot to announce the sponsors for the Carcass Lamb. The champion sponsored banner was Christine Bernie Doonan, and the reserve was sponsored by Dr. Cody and Chelsea Branstead. I'm sorry about that, but they sponsored the banners for the Carcass Lambs. In the ring currently is our market feeder lamb class. We have Adelie Merrick and Cameron Tusing.
Quality feeder class to come out here today. And the young lady with the natural weather just carries a little bit more weight, a little bit more muscle, and coming and going, he's a little bit squarer and pulled apart. He's a little bit wider in the base of his sternum, allowing him to feed more shape over his rack. Really nice feeder lamb to start out. The young lady with the lamb in second still handles really well in terms of cutability. This is a really nice one. Just wish she came with the same kind of horsepower the one ahead of her did. Put your hands together for a really nice feeder class.
First in that class was Adelie Merrick, second Cameron Tusing. Entering the ring now is our Dorset Market Lamb class. Carson Skransky, Bryson Davis, Morgan Lichty, Bryn Conrad, Ella Lay, and Morgan Nafsinger. If you notice in the ring, Carson Skransky is wearing a gray polo shirt. That is recognizing graduating senior members. The shirts are sponsored by Woodhoff Farms. And also out there is Morgan Nafsinger. She happens to have an FFA shirt on, but she is also a graduating senior. And while we're recognizing people, Out in the ring is our current Washington County Fair Queen, Morgan Lichty. Since this is our one and only Dorset Market Lamb class, there will be a champion and reserve determined. The champion banner is sponsored by the Jeff Sprouse family, and the reserve banner is sponsored by Ron and Louise Schmidt's family.
Really interesting whiteface class to start out. Now I want to start out by saying that the 1 and 2nd here is, in terms of a whiteface sheep, has some of the best progression of muscle that I've ever seen. But when it comes to being a little bit leveler in her spine, a little bit better handling in terms of her condition, I think this one that starts out is really special. You could add some drop to his flank, but as we progress and as we go on, this one still looks taller shouldered. He still looks level in terms of his hip, level in terms of his spine when she gets him shown right. This one's pretty nice. Now the one that we have out here in second, just wish he was a little bit more current in terms of his neck. Wish he was a little bit sleeker and I guess a little bit fresher in terms of the top side of his neck there. But feeding into a tall and concise shoulder. Wants to get a little coarse shoulder, but once again, with that kind of power, that's just something you're going to have. It's give and take. I just wish this one was a little bit better condition for me. There's a lot of power coming out of this one. Really nice lamb for second. Now the young lady here in third, also like the 1 and 2nd. I mean, we're just talking a powerhouse. In terms of that hip, hind leg, that one's ripped up. That one handles nice. Still a little heavier condition than the 2 ahead of her, but still really good lamb right there. The young man that we have out here in fourth, fundamentally really good lamb in terms of condition, in terms of moving around and proportion. I just wish was a little bit fuller in through his forerib. Wish he came with a shot more bone, and I wish he just came with the kind of power that the 3 ahead of him did. Now the young lady we have out here in fourth, this ewe lamb is pretty nice. It's just hard. It's hard to play with the boys when you come at a much lighter weight. That comes at a cost, but in terms of her condition, her hide, she handled really well. She moves pretty good. This is a really nice one to have for fifth. Rounding out this class, still really high quality sheep. This one's fundamental and hard to poke holes into. The only problem is, doesn't have the out there pieces of the ones ahead of him. Wants to get a little bit more mature about her neck and frailer about her bone. Put your hands together for a really nice whiteface class.
Winning champion in our Dorset Market Lamb class was Morgan Lichty. Morgan is also our 2025 Washington County Fair Queen. And reserve went to Ella Lay. Coming into our class will be our first class of Hampshire Market Lambs. In the ring will be Cameron Eldridge, Bryn Conrad, Dylan Lehman, Emerson Flynn, and Ella Greiner. The rest of the results from the Dorset Market Lamb class going down your sheet: 5, 4, 1, 6, 2, 3. I want to be sure to announce that on Thursday at the Lion Stage at 5 p.m. is special recognition for our Hall of Fame. And one of our very own is receiving that, Pam Davis, who has worked in the sheep barn for many, many years and is back there getting them organized, will be our Hall of Famer. So congratulations to Pam. They're also will be giving state fair awards, our favorite bucket of junk auction. All of those are on display at the commercial building. So please join us at the Lion Stage at 5 o'clock on Thursday for all of those wonderful awards.
Real interesting trio that we have out here. And the top two I was kind of going back and forth on. Now I'll tell you that the one that is out here in second may handle with a little bit more punch. I think in terms of shape-wise, she's still pretty cool and consistent. She got a little bit chubby for me, but where I got into her is she cut up a little bit into her flank. She was a little bit deeper chested in comparison to the one in front of her. This is still a very cool current sheep. And these are hard knocks on her, but if you want me to be completely honest, I'm being really picky. I think this one isn't as tall as concise out of her shoulder, but I think in terms of bone density, touch, freshness, balance from the side, Freaky Shallow Lamb wins it. And the young lady who comes out here in second, like I've said, this thing's a powerhouse. Just wish in terms of her front one, in terms of his front 1/3, we could make him a little bit more youthful. And we could get him a little bit more tucked up in the base of his sternum there. Really nice one for second. Young lady out here in third. Fundamentally really good lamb. Only problem is when you have two that are that powerful in front of you, it's hard to beat. But this one's still good over a rib. Handles well, conditioned well. I think this one's a really nice one for third. Now the one that we have out here in fourth, big-legged and still handled really nicely. It's just when you get that depth of quality in a class like this, it's hard to get by him. And the young lady with her lamb out here, this one handles really well and is probably one of the most cuttable of the class. My only problem, he wants to get a little bit up in his spine, but put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning our first class of Hamp Market Lambs was Ella Greiner. Second place was Emerson Flynn, and third, also getting a purple, was Bryn Conrad. So going down through your sheet, 5, 3, 4, 2, 1. We currently have our class 2 of Hamp Market Lambs in the ring: Cooper Barnes, Eliana Hahn, Kylie Penfield, and Ava Greiner.
really high quality weather to start out here. In terms of checking the boxes, he does that the most out of all of these. Still level, square, big-legged, handles appropriately, conditioned appropriately. This one's a very high quality lamb to have. Now out here in second, this one wants to get a little coarse about his shoulder, wants to cut up into his flank, and doesn't have the same kind of balance as you see the one ahead of him. But what this one has is raw power. You can feel it on the handle. You can see it. That's why his shoulder's so coarse when it lays into him. Really nice one to have here in second. Now the young lady out here in third, really good bodied sheep too. Round, big muscled. My only problem, wanted to get a little bit full, wanted to get a little bit up in his spine. I wish we could square this one up when walking away from me. Now the young lady out here in fourth, really good lines out of this lamb. Really good hip laid into this one. We like that about him. My only problem is came into a class with some very powerful lambs and just got out muscled. But put your hands together for a really quality class.
Winning our second class of Hampshire market lambs was Ava Greiner. Second place was Cooper Barnes. 2, 3, 4, 1 in your program. Coming in as our final class of market lambs, Emerson Stransky, Javen Davis, Kada Greiner, and Covert Greiner. I also want to be sure to announce that after the sheep show today will be the Clover Kids sheep show. Clover Kid participants in that class should get their show number from the extension office. So as those kids show up, please tell them to go to the extension office for their number. Also, some of the animals from today's show will be sold in the livestock auction Friday. Anyone from the community is welcome to come and buy. So the auction starts at 8:30 on Friday morning.
Interesting top trio, and I had to have some give and take here. Here out in first, I picked one that's a little frailer bone, that gets a little bit up in her spine, could be a little bit leveler in terms of her dock. But I mean, I'm talking a barrel rib cage. She handles the most appropriate of the class and is good in terms of her cover. I think this one's a really good weather to start out with. The one out here in second, really hard to poke a hole in him fundamentally. He's good built, good handled. Now he just gets a little bit mature for me today, but I still think being able to keep him and looking like this at this maturity actually has some value. Now the one that we have out here in third, I think probably out of the top three moves the best. I think this one pulls her head out of the top side of her shoulder just a little bit better when on the move. I think this one handles really well, and in terms of condition is appropriate. I just wish she wasn't so overpowered in terms of the others in front of her. This is a really nice lamb to have in third. Just wish she was a little bit rounder over a rib. And then the one that we're rounding out the class with, still fundamentally really good, square, handles nice, appropriate in terms of her cover. Just wish she came with that extra shot of power, that extra shot of width. Put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning class 3 of our Hampshire Market Lamb class was Javen Davis. Second place was Covert Greiner. Going down in your program, 4, 1, 3, 2. We will now be showing for champion and reserve Hampshire Market Lamb. In class 1 was Ella Greiner. Second place was Emerson Flynn. In class 2, our winner was Ava Greiner. Second place was Cooper Barnes. And our winner of class 3 was Javen Davis. Second place was Covert Greiner. So those are the 6 that will be in the ring, showing for champion Hampshire Market Lamb. Our champion banner is sponsored by Fletcher and Mackenzie Flynn family. The reserve banner is sponsored by Ron and Louise Schmidt's family.
Really high quality drive out here. The young lady in the gray shirt's going to win it for me today. I think this one's just a little bit taller, more concise about the top side of his shoulder. I think he carries a little bit more weight than through his width than through his hind saddle. This one handles really appropriately. I just wish we could have just a little bit more loin, but hey, you know, I'm not going to complain that my steak is too juicy. The one that we have out here in reserve, just wish this one was a little bit neater in her hip, a little bit leveler, and went into her rump line. Now this one's got the bone density that I'm missing in the one ahead of it. I think this one's a touch rounder ribbed. I think this one has a little bit better proportion, but in terms of coming complete, I like the one ahead of her. But really good drive. Put your hands together.
Our champion Hampshire Market Lamb was shown by Ava Greiner, reserve champion Ella Greiner. Soon coming into the ring is our Class 1 of Natural Market Lambs. Cameron Tusing, Elianne Eldridge, Grace Skelton, Bryson Davis, Kylie Penfield, Morgan Nafsinger, Lexton Fisher, and Emma Greiner. In the ring is Grace Skelton, who is wearing the gray polo. She is a senior from the Lime Creek Limelights.
Really awesome top trio of natural weathers to come out here. Now this one, in terms of touch, tone, quality, condition, I think this one wins pretty easily. If anything, I think this one is just a touchscreen, wants to get just a little rough over his shoulder with the lack of cover, but hey, that's not a horrible problem to have. Now the young man who comes out here in second, I think this one from the profile is really neat, long, level-hipped, good looking, just in terms of condition. I wish she came just a little bit skinnier. She didn't handle near as well off the jump, but really good one to have in terms of proportion and levelness. Really good show lamb here. Now the one to come out here in third, this one's a powerhouse. All right, gorilla backed, just wants to carry a little bit more cover because of that. Round ribbed, wide. This one's still pretty cool, just wish he was a little bit more up off the ground. Wish he tied a little bit higher out of the top side of his neck. Now the one that we have out here in fourth is fundamentally a really good market animal. Still round over rib, handles plenty good. Comes with a little bit of extra cover, but just wish this one had a little bit more bone, a little bit more body to proportion from the side. Now the one that we have out here in fifth, I think is actually really good. This one's green, but still big about the top side of her hip. I just wish we could add just a little bit more foot and bone to rival the ones ahead of her, but this one's still really neat from the side. The one that we have out here in sixth, really good looking from the profile, handles really well. Just if this lamb wanted to work a little bit better for this young lady, it could be just a little bit different. And then the young man to round out the class, I still think looks really good from the side. Just wish we had a little bit more foot and bone, and wish we didn't wash out of that loin, and we're a little bit squarer over the top side of the dock. But really good class. Put your hands together.
Winning that class was Emma Greiner. Second place was Lexton Fisher. Going down through the program, 6, 5, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our second class of natural market lambs, Lila Greiner, Javen Davis, Rochelle Lichty, Connor Lay, and Hunter Barnes.
Now, very contrasting top trio we got here. The young man who's showing this weather here, now he's a little PC, he's a little raw in places. For example, one place I'd like to fix him is over his hip. He wants to just get a little raw on the move and wants to start to round. But I think in terms of touch, handle, width, this guy is radical. Fact of the matter is, most of the sheep in here could fit inside of him, and when it's a market show, that's just some hard stuff to beat. The one that comes out here in second, I think, is just a little bit better presented today in terms of levelness. I think this one's a little bit more appropriate in terms of amount of condition and how the condition lays over the body. This one wants to wash a little bit out of his loin, but still handles good. Good texture to his hide, and this one's a really nice one to have in second. Now, the one that we have out here in third, just wish she came with the same kind of power and roundness that we see in the one ahead of her. This one's still very interesting because it still reads plenty youthful to me. I think this one still has plenty spring of rib and pretty good in terms of his hip. He's a little skinny right now. I'm a big fan of this one. Feeding on him, I think this one could be really cool someday. And now the young lady that we have out here next, I think in terms of squareness, this one's hard to get around. I think in terms of being cool-bodied, in terms of being good-ribbed, I think this one also has a lot of future ahead of him. My only problem is just didn't come with the kind of power that we needed to have today. And then the young man to round out this class, just wish this one was a little square going away from me. Wish there's a little bit more jump on the top side of his shoulder for some rack shape. But really nice lamb to round out this class. Put your hands together.
Winning that class was Connor Lay. Second place was Javen Davis. We will now be showing for champion and reserve natural market lamb. Class 1 was Emma Greiner. Second place was Lexton Fisher. And then we'll have Connor Lay and Javen Davis. The champion and reserve banners for the natural market sheep is sponsored by the Jeff Sprouse family and Ron and Louise Schmidt's family. Again, we want to thank all of our sponsors. Once again, I want to give a shout out to all the people that are behind the scenes and up front that make this show run. Bridget Niebel-Litweiler, Ted Greiner, Todd Schmitz, Caitlin Waters, Pam Davis, Dawn Andrake, Shauna Siren, Clara Schmidt, Charlie Stoutner, Scott Siren, Haley Schultz, Kevin Schultz, and Elsa Schmidt. So thank you to all of our wonderful volunteers, and if I missed anybody, I apologize.
Really quality drive out here, and it's kind of funny because if you take a look at the first class and the second class, I picked kind of the same lambs in opposite spots, and I do that because I don't have any type of one kind of sheep, but when it comes in terms of quality, you just got to take what you find out here in the ring. This young lady's going to start out to win. I think this one's tall-shouldered, good in terms of condition. This one handles well. This one moves well. This one's hard to poke a hole in. And then the young man here is going to be reserved. I think this one in terms of radical shape is crazy. And what he gives up from balance from the side, he makes up for coming so wide, coming so dense in terms of his bone. This one's handle quality is insane. Put your hands together for a really good drive.
Our champion natural market sheep was shown by Emma Greiner and our reserve by Connor Lay. Coming into the ring shortly is our one and only Speckled market lamb class, Adelaide Merrick, Eliana Hahn, Carson Stransky, Rena Lyle, Lexton Fisher, and Caden Houston. Out of this class, there will be a champion and reserve Speckled market lamb. The banners are sponsored by the Sprouse Family Club Lambs and Ron and Louise Schmidt's family. Once again, our senior in the ring is Carson Stransky wearing the gray polo shirt, sponsored by Widoff Farms.
Really interesting top trio right here, and there's some give and take in terms of freshness, staying youthful, still having a handle, having some balance from the side, being good moving, and I think this one's a pretty good place to start in terms of shape and just boxes that are checked. Now, when I see ones like out here, like this young man here in second, when I see a white face, I don't necessarily think of muscle. So when they come out here and have some progression of width and muscle, that's very important to me. And he might be just a touch over conditioned. His spine might go up when he walks. He's a little shorter bodied than I like, but that's still something that's really resounding to me. That's a really good second. The young lady that comes out here in third has a really quality ewe. She's super green, and so she's not super busted open, and she's a little raw some places. But I think this is a really nice ewe in terms of her handle. Just wish she came with the same kind of power, same kind of mass as the two ahead of her. The young man that we have out here in fourth, I think this is a really powerful lamb. I just think he gets a little bit more mature, a little bit staler for me. Wanted to handle just a little bit softer and had a little bit more condition than I like. Still a really good one to have out here in fourth. Now, the young lady with the ewe lamb, this is a ripped up ewe lamb right here. This will breed muscle into the next generation. My only problem is the carpet's got to match the drapes in terms of her foot and bone. Just for her balance, I wish she was a little taller shouldered to help her run uphill. And the young lady to round out this class, just wish this one would go away from me just a little squarer. But in terms from the side, this thing's going uphill, jet level, and handles appropriately in terms of her condition and muscling. Really good way to end out the class. Put your hands together.
Our champion Speckled Market Lamb was shown by Caden Houston. Our reserve by Rena Lyle. Again, their banners were sponsored by Sprouse Family Club Lambs and Ron and Louise Schmidt's family. Coming into our ring now is the class called All Other Breeds. Emerson Lyle, McKinley Davis, Bryson Davis, Emma Elderton, and Ava Greiner. A champion and reserve will also be determined from this class. The champion banner is sponsored by Irwin Farms, and the reserve by Ron and Louise Schmidt's family again.
Interesting top trio to come out here, and the young lady's lamb in terms of foot, bone, density, width, muscle, and freshness just outpowers this class. She's got them looking right. This one wins head and shoulders. Now the one that we have right here is, this was a little tough call in between second and third. I like this one for her structure. I think for muscling for a white face, it's pretty impeccable. She's still round in her rib. Proportion's good from the side and stays jet level. Just wish she handled with a little bit more expression, a little bit less cover. But I like the width on this thing. I like the look of it. Now the young man that comes out here in third had a little trouble with this weather, but it's all right. He showed him, and he's got him looking good. But in comparison to the one ahead of him, I just wish this one wouldn't round out of his hip so hard. But in terms of handling, this one is a stronger, bigger backed, a little bit fresher hided one. Really good one to have here in third. Now the young man out here in fourth, I like how this one moves. I think he moves pretty square and fluid, keeps his head up. And I think in terms of structure, that's what puts him over the last one in class. This one just wants to round out of her hip just a little bit. He wants to round out of his hip just a little bit. He's big, growthy, looks good from the side, just on the move. Just wants to duck his legs ever so slightly, but put your hands together for a high quality class.
All right, there was a mix-up in that last class, only from the announcer's standpoint, not from anybody else's. In the Speckled Market Lamb class, the champion was shown by Rena Lyle, the reserve by Caden Houston. So I want to make that clear. Rena won, Caden was reserve. And in our all other breeds class, the champion there that was just shown was Ava Greiner, and the reserve by McKinley Davis. In the ring is our Crossbred Market Lamb Class 1, Kaylin Eldridge, Kevin Hahn, and Amelia Rogers.
The young lady's lamb that starts out in this class relative to the others, just a little bit more muscular, a little bit more punch, a little bit more width and proportion. Still really good youthful lamb. Wants to get up in her spine, but hey, that's a small problem for me. Now the young lady that comes out here in second, I still think this is a really good bodied lamb. I think she handles nicely. I just wish she came with a little bit more punch over the top side of her shoulder, feeding back into her hind saddle. But there's some give and take. I like this one while moving. Her spine wants to get up ever so slightly, but that's a common problem we're having in this class right here. And so that's not a big issue for me in terms of freshness. I think she's a really nice one. Now the young man to have one out here in third, still really high quality. This one's really good from the side. This one handles nicely. Just wish I could square him up going away from me. Wish he came with a little bit more pop in his forerib, a little bit more cover over his shoulder. Put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning the first class of crossbred market lambs was Kaylin Eldridge. Second place was Amelia Rogers. In our ring now is our second class of crossbred market lambs. Kylie Penfield, Amelia Rogers, Emma Elderton, Callie Brink, Emerson Stransky, Afton Houston, Ella Greiner, and Emerson Flynn.
This is one of the deeper classes we've seen today. There's some give and take in this top pair. I had to walk just a little bit extra because where my problem comes in these two is in their hip. They both want to be just a little bit quick. They both just want to round a little bit, and moving so fast, it's a little bit harder to study where they track, how they move, how flexible they are they comfortable, are they keeping a smooth stride, are they gliding instead of, hindering and paddling. And this one, I think this one is a little bit narrower tracking in through his hip, but he's just a little bit more youthful. I think he's, in terms of his forerib, his handle over the top side of his rack is really cool. In terms of his bone density, he comes together, stout-chested, balances a little bit better than the one behind him, just a little bit more dropped in his flank. Now the one that comes in behind her, I still think is a very hard handling lamb. Maybe just a little bit more condition on this one, but this one is huge back, this one's wide. Also really good moving, just wants to round a little bit more out of her hip. It doesn't look as current in terms of her proportions. Need to drop him in terms of his flank just a little bit. Still a really good one for second. Now the young lady out here in third just straight up got outpowered, and it's not her fault. But this one is a really good lamb fundamentally. I think he's got some spring of rib. He's got touch. Probably the best conditioned lamb in this class in my personal opinion. I just think in terms of progression of width and muscle was given up a little bit. Now the young lady who comes out here in fourth, this one's just a little bit more radical. I like to see a female that can play with the boys. This ewe lamb is really good in terms of how her rib lays into her, how round she is, her proportions. Wish there's a little bit more width to her, but this one, I wish she could get out and go with just a little bit more, assertiveness. She gets a little tentative out of her rear, still maintains her spine, one of the best while walking. And the young lady to come out here next, I want to get a little critical on this lamb just because he gets a little bit up in his spine and doesn't match the same kind of bone. Need to push the posture of his shoulder back ever so slightly back into him, but this one's a really good one. And then the young lady with the speckled up darker lamb, I just wish this one balanced up a little bit better from the side, came with a little bit more over his hip. The young lady come out next. I think in terms of lines, freshness, this one is really nice. Just in terms of bone and progression of width and muscle, wanted to give up a little bit. And the young lady to round out this class, this is a really good moving one, and she actually handled with some pretty good conditioning and muscling. But my only problem with her, she wants to round out of her hip as soon as she starts getting into motion. Put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning that class was Ella Greiner. Second place was Emerson Flynn. Going down from your program, 6, 5, 8, 4, 7, 3, 1, 2. Class 3 of our Crossbred market lambs. In the ring currently is Luke Adam, Dylan Lehman, McKinley Davis, Morgan Lichty, Carson Stransky, Anna Greiner, Adeline Houston, Rochelle Lichty. Class 3 Crossbred market lambs.
really special class to come out here. Young lady has the most jet level, best handling, and I think most proportional lamb out here. I thought in terms of winning this one, won pretty easily, just in terms of how she can, or how he can check the boxes. Now the one to come out here next, I think handles really well. Might have a touch more conditioning than I'd like. A little bit more up off the ground and a little bit fresher appearing in terms of her hide. When she gets on the move, she wants to get up in her spine ever so slightly every few steps, and I'm fine with that. Just in terms of proportion, wish we could drop him a little bit in his flank. Wish we could make him a little bit more youthful in terms of his neck. Really good one for second. Young lady that comes out here in third. This one was in contention for a while, but I got him on the move. Wants to get a little bit up in his spine. Wants to be a little tentative about his front feet. And I wish we could rock the posture of his shoulder back into his body just a little bit deeper. A young lady come out here next. This is a powerhouse if I've seen one. Now he's a little raw in some places, but you're going to have that when they come this ripped up. But also with that correlation, you're going to be a little bit up in your spine. You're going to be a little bit rougher in terms of your shoulder. But I still think this is a really cool one to have out here in fourth, to have that kind of power. Now the young man that comes out here in fifth, this is still a really nice lamb. The problem is, wants to get a little plainer because of how fundamentally good she is. It's hard to poke a hole out of her, but when you're that good and it's hard to poke a hole out of you, usually there's no super duper resounding exotic pieces, like the shiny bells and whistles and all that. But this one's hard to knock. She still comes with some width, bone. She handles well, good in her lines, good in her cover. She just came into a class with some freaks and some powerful lambs. Now the young lady that comes out next, this one's one of the best from the profile, but as the show kind of goes on, you tell this one just got a little bit tired in terms of freshness. This one's probably one of the worst ones in the class, but you handle this one. He's a little soft, you can tell, but that muscle was there, so I'd like to see him at 12 o'clock. I think he's just a bit past that right now. The young lady that we have out here next, once again, this is just a fundamentally good animal. Nothing to hate on about these kind of animals. The only problem is they just don't come out with a freaky piece that could be their detriment or what makes them such an expensive piece of livestock. In terms of lines, looks, handle, this is a very good lamb. I think this is one that moves pretty well. My only problem, just wish he was a little bit more youthful in his neck. Wish he came with a little bit more foot and bone. Really good lamb though. The young man to round out this class, I just thought in terms of conditioning, got a little extra. I think broke kind of right before you get into that roach right there in his spine, and wanted to almost look like it disconnected the front part of his body from the back. But put your hands together for a really nice class.
Winning Class 3 of the Crossbred Market Lambs was Morgan Lichty. Second place was Anna Greiner. Going down in your sheet, 5, 8, 4, 1, 7, 2, 3, 6. Coming into the ring is now our final class of Crossbred Market Lambs. Emerson Stransky, Morgan Lichty, Amelia Rogers, Ella Lay, and then there's one that was not in your program that was added, Cameron Tuzine. After this class, we will determine our grand champion market lamb.
Now this one is a little bit overdone in terms of freshness and condition for me. I think this one's just a little bit past 12 o'clock, but wide, square, big bone, handles well. I think in terms of a total package, this one looks the best out here. Now the one that comes out here in second, still not the freshest, but hard handling over her top. Wants to round a little bit out of her hip, but I think this one's not as youthful in terms of her neck, but this is still a really good lamb to have out here in second. Now the young lady to come out here in third, this one just got a little tick full on us today. You can tell a little bit too much drop to the belly there. Wanted to get a little deep, and then wants to get up a little bit in his spine. That's just an effect of how much fill you have in there. Still a really good lamb in terms of touch, tone, squareness. This is a really nice one. The young lady that comes out here next, fundamentally a really good lamb. Hard to poke a hole in this one. I just like to say I wish this one came with a little bit more punch over the top side of its shoulder. Wish this one came with a little bit more foot and bone. Really nice one to have here. And the one to round out the class, this is still a really high quality animal, and it hurt to put it this far down into class. Good job from our showman out there keeping hold of that lamb. My only problem is wants to just wash away in his loin ever so slightly. Comes a little bit less genuine in terms of his hip, but in terms of top side spread and shape, this one is really good. Put your hands together for an awesome class.
Winning our Class 4 of our Crossbred Market Lambs was Ella Lay. Second place was Cameron Choosing, and that was a lamb that was added. So going down on your sheet, 5, 3, 4, 1, 2. We will now show for champion Crossbred Market Lamb. Winning Class 1 was Kaylin Eldridge. Second place was Amelia Rogers. In our Class 2, winning the class was Ella Greiner. Second place was Emerson Flynn. Class 3, winner was Morgan Lichty. Second place was Anna Greiner. And on our last class, Ella Lay and Cameron Choosing. So those should be the 8 lambs that are out in the ring for champion Crossbred Market Lamb. The champion banner is sponsored by the Sprouse sisters. The reserve is sponsored by Ron and Louise Schmidt's family.
really good cross drive we're having here. I'm going to start out with your grand champion. It's going to be this young lady here in the second class. In terms of freshness, touch, handle, I think this one's pretty elite. Now he wants to get a little short about his hip. That's all right. That's just a small ruminant problem for you. I do still have some picking and choosing to find second, so I'm going to put the mic down and I'm going to walk them, and we're going to take a look for second.
Our champion crossbred market lamb was shown by Ella Greiner. The reserve is going to be determined shortly. To let all the exhibitors and family members know, Hills Bank is taking pictures and they will be printing them. You can pick them up in the commercial exhibit building in the next day or two. So please thank Hills Bank for doing that. That is a wonderful service, and the pictures can be picked up in the exhibit hall.
I had them walk because I had some picking and choosing to do, because there's some give and take to the two I was thinking of. I'm going to have to give reserve to this young lady right here. Giving up a little bit of a freshness of hide, just a little bit of touch, but when you're on the move, this one's a little bit longer, level her hip, composes her spine a lot better into her body. Not to take anything away from the one that is behind her, this is still a very high quality animal. It's just a matter of moving, and I wish she came or went away from me with just a little bit more squareness that she has coming to me. Really good class, really good drive. Put your hands together.
Our reserve champion crossbred market lamb was shown by Morgan Lichty. We will now be showing for the grand champion market lamb. We will place the top 10 lambs, so give us a little bit of time here. All the winners will be coming out. The champion Dorset was Morgan Lichty, reserve Ella Lay. Champion Hamp, Ava Greiner, reserve Ella Greiner. Champion Natural, Emma Greiner, reserve Connor Lay. Champion Speckled, Rena Lyle, reserve Caden Houston. All other breeds champion, Ava Greiner, reserve McKinley Davis. And the champion crossbred, Ella Greiner and Morgan Lichty. We have lots of the same people that had winners, and so there'll be other people showing the lambs, not necessarily the owner. A reminder to exhibitors and family that the journal is taking pictures for anybody that were in the championship drive, champion, or reserve. So please take the time to get your picture taken. They definitely appreciate it, and it's good advertisement for the Washington County Fair. Awards for the top 10 market lambs are the Farmers Co-op and Jeff Sprouse in Kyoto, KDK Sales, Greg and Heather Cook, Prairie Mutual Insurance, Don Linhart, Mitch King and Brandon Hamilton for the King Agency from Farm Bureau Financial. The champion banner, Cash and Buckle, is sponsored by the Pat Greiner family and Greiner Club Lambs. The reserve is sponsored by the Farmers Co-op of Kyoto and Amesworth, as well as the Greiner Club Lambs.
Again, I'm going to aim for short and sweet. Real quick, again, I'd like to thank the show committee for having me out here and for all the ring help and everything that you guys do to put this show on. You guys allow us to do what we love to do, and there's not enough thanks for that. Next, I'd like you kids to thank your parents for the position they put you in to be out here in this grand drive. They'll never get enough thanks, and you got to realize that they're out here, and it's partially their project too. They're just very good helpers. I know today my parents are at home, and they're helping me out with things that I can't do while I'm here. But that's enough of that. I'll get right into it. I thought there was one out here today that won pretty easy. I have a little problem with them, but it's a problem that's just running through small ruminants. It's I think our current problem, just a little bit shorter, shorter and steeper hips out there now. And the fact of the matter is, when they come that short and steep out of their hip, they're usually muscled up nice ones that we like to breed for the next generation. But my problem stems I like to find a fine line in between that, one that doesn't hurt the next generation in terms of structure, because that can be fixed. But bottom line is I'm going to keep my eye on the ball and go back to basics. I mean, we're talking body, proportions, squareness, foot and bone, the things that make it easy to actually make a living in this show industry. I know personally it's hard to sell sheep, so having some quality out here like this, I was really looking forward to coming back here today. If you guys don't know, this is probably one of the highest quality county fair sheep shows. Yeah, call me a little biased, but I'd say nationally. But this is one of the, like, I got goosebumps looking at this class. When a guy can get excited about every single lamb in this lineup, that's a true testament to how elite in terms of livestock this county is. And so without further ado, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pick your top 5. Put your hands together for a really awesome show day, people. My apologies, folks. I only picked 5 out of 10, and if you want me to be honest, this is the best case scenario because I felt kind of bad only picking 5. So bring them on out. If you guys want to come up, if I picked yours, you want to come up?
Okay, we're sorry that it took us a little bit to get it all straightened out. When the people are not holding their own lamb, it makes things a little complicated up here. So, winning grand champion market lamb was Ava Griner with her Hampshire. Reserve champion overall market lamb was Emma Griner with her natural. Third place was Ella Griner with a crossbred. Fourth place was Ava Griner with her other breeds. Fifth place was Ella Griner with her Hamp. Sixth place, Connor Lay with his natural. Seventh place, Morgan Lichty with her crossbred. Eighth place, Rena Lyle with her speckled. Ninth was McKinley Davis with her other breeds. And 10th overall was Caden Houston with his speckle. Currently in the ring is the pair of lambs, Bryn Conrad, Amelia Rogers, Bryson Davis, Kylie Penfield, Adeline Houston, Ava Griner. After this class, we will be announcing the rate of gain. We will just need the exhibitors without their lambs.
Now, a lot of these pairs that we had just came together just a little bit differently. I chose to use these young ladies ahead here for first, and this couple here for second. I think in terms of power that you're bringing into a female, both of these are a little bit more overdone, a little bit more radical from your average Joe Show shepherd. It might be a little bit too much towards them, but breeding muscle in the next generation is a baseline for me. So for them to do that, I think it's pretty cool. The next pair that comes out here, I think in terms of overall quality, they look really nice. I think now the black one doesn't match up as well. He's a little bit lighter weight, but moving around the ring, I think they're all high quality. Really good pair for second. The ones that come out here in third, I think in terms of uniformity, probably the best. But when you get the handle, they're just a little bit softer in comparison to the ones ahead of them. But in terms of uniformity, I like how level they are when they move. I like their look from the side. Very good pair to have here in third. And now the pair that we have out here in fourth, these ones are also uniformly pretty similar, pretty close to weights. I just wish there's a little bit better handle there. And then I find some quality out of the females here. I just wish in terms of balance from the side, moving, they came with a little bit more touch. But put your hands together for an awesome pair class.
In the pair of lamb class, winning was Adeline Houston. Second place was Bryson Davis. Third was Bryn Conrad. Fourth was Kylie Penfield. And fifth was Amelia Rogers. Coming out into the ring should be our top 10 rate of gain. Again, it's just the kids without their lambs. Champion rate of gain was shown by Cameron Tuzine, or won by Cameron Tuzine. Second place was Luke Adam. Third place was Adelie Merrick. Fourth, Amelia Rogers. Also as a tie for fourth place was Ava Greiner with that. So Amelia and Ava are fourth place. We had a three-way tie for fifth place, Lexton Fisher, Hunter Barnes, and Dylan Lehman. Sixth place, Eliana Hahn, and seventh place, Morgan Lichty. Congratulations to all of our exhibitors for the top 10 rate of gain. We have two exhibitors this year for our Top Gun Showman. How this works is, for example, Emerson last year won as a junior. And so therefore, once you win a category, you go into the Top Gun category until you go into the next level. So Emerson will be in this until she is an intermediate. Once she's in intermediate, then she'll go back with all the others in regular showmanship. We also have out there our senior exhibitor, which is Morgan Lichty, because once again, Morgan won at the senior level at some point, so that's why she's in the Top Gun. Our other one would have been Garrett Greiner, but he is not showing today, so these are our two Top Gun exhibitors. Our Top Gun winner banner is sponsored by Irwin Farms, and Phil and Pam Purdock give $20.
Now, this is not only a hill I'll die on, It's a hill I'm willing to kill on. This is the hardest class of the day, almost every single show I go to. I mean, these showmen are just getting better and better by the year. It doesn't matter if they're younger, older, they got them stuck. And it's always going to be the hardest classes to me. But it comes down to little things. Personally, as a showman, it gets a little bit easier because people can do things that I'm more favorable for, and then, you know, they can do some things that I'll dock them for. And so I just like to say, one of the biggest parts to me about showmanship is being able to keep poise, stay cool. Not only do you need to be knowledgeable about your animal, but you need to get them stuck. You need to be able to look around the ring, see where the judge is at. And here's like for example, like a little trick I use. If a judge isn't looking at you, you might as well flat out motor them there, and you know, you can let their head down. It's all about how you can make the ring your advantage. I think these two girls do this really nicely. They're both getting them stuck. They're both keeping eye contact with me. They're both leading them out in front of them when they're on the walk. What it comes down to me, is just general knowledge about what you're doing every single day with your lamb. And the young lady in the back is going to be first, and then the young lady in front is going to be second.
Winning our Top Gun showman is Morgan Lichty. Now coming into the ring are our senior showmen. With our showmanship, we actually have two things going on. We have the typical showmanship, but then we also have a premier showman. And the premier showman is based on if they get a blue, purple, red, or white in the ring here. It's also based on an interview and a test. So all of those things are combined for the premier showman winner. And then we also have just the typical showmanship winner based on what they're doing right now in the ring. So for each of the classes, there'll be a showmanship winner and then a premier showmanship winner. So hang tight.
The young man that we have out here to start keeps his sheep looking good for the longest amount of time. His eyes are always on me, the spine's level. He's quick to fix any issues. Now, I did ask our top 3 showmen a question, and in all honesty, if one of them got it right, they probably would have won it. That's how close this battle is. But the question was, how many wethers were born in the U.S. a year? I got anywhere from 1 to 3 million. Hate to say it, the answer is 0. If they're born with testicles, that'd be a ram. It's all right. I fell for that one too. That was pretty embarrassing. I still hear about it. But the young man has the lamb looking good a lot. Every single time I look at him, he's making eye contact and he knows everything he feeds him. All that. Congratulations. The young lady out here in second, I just told her I had a little bit of issues with how her sheep walked, but in terms of setting them up and getting them ready right away, she was the best at that. I think that's pretty important. I think if I'm a judge and it's between 1 to 2, if it's at a county fair or a grand drive-in state fair, if you stop your animal and get them set right away, that's a good feeling. She's really good at that, so congratulations. The young man who comes out here in third, I think he does a really good job. My only problem is the spine wants to get a little bit up, and so we just talked about maybe tinkering that just a little bit. But top 3 were really competitive. Once again, if you got the question right, you probably ran away with it. But put your hands together for an awesome class of showmen.
All right, so Jack Greiner was the winner of your traditional showmanship class, so congratulations to Jack Greiner. Adeline is actually our premier senior showmanship winner, which means she won because of the placement in showmanship, an interview, and a test. So congratulations to Adeline for being our premier senior showmanship winner. And hers was sponsored by Sprouse Family Club Lambs. Congratulations, Jack and Adeline. So now we'll do the same thing for our intermediate showmen. There will be the typical showmanship winner as well as the premier showmanship winner. It could be the same person or 2 different people. Remember that after the showmanship classes, we will be having the Clover Kids Sheep Show. So Clover Kids, if you're standing around the ring and you haven't got your exhibitor number, please go to the extension office for that.
Another tough class, but this young lady comes out here and does an exceptional job. I told just about everybody else in this class, if you watch this girl walk around the ring, she's got her arm extended, her shoulders back, she's showing off her sheep, and she doesn't look nervous or weird doing it. She just does it so naturally, and on top of that, the thing stops, gets set up, and she seems to be pretty knowledgeable about her sheep, so she'll win today. The one that we have out here in second, really good showman. My only problem is this. In terms of when I'd go around to the front side, I think this one was set just a little bit more genuine, and this one was wide, don't get me wrong, but I thought one of the times I went around the front of it, got a little bit too wide, was out on its knee. If that's your problem in showmanship, that's a pretty good problem to have, so congrats to you. The young lady in third, this one walked very nicely. I told her I just wanted her arm just a little bit more extended to be able to work with these top two. But once again, put your hands together for an incredible class of showmen.
Okay, our winner in our intermediate regular showmanship class was Emma Greiner, and second place was Javen Davis. But actually, Eliana, stay put, because Eliana, stop. Eliana, you are the intermediate premier showmanship winner, so great job, Eliana. And the winner of that had banners and stuff sponsored by Farmers Elevator and Exchange of Kelowna. Emma Greiner's things were sponsored by Phil and Pam Purdock. And last but not least, we have our junior showman. Same deal, we'll have a regular showman, and then we will also have our premier showman. Junior showman, as you leave the ring today, you will be donated a lamb halter. The McCoy family, the Cleo McCoy family, is the people that give these to you. Cleo McCoy was a longtime sheep producer. His kids are still in sheep, and this is something that he still loves to do. So we have to thank the McCoy family for giving you sheep halters as you leave the ring today. And if you get a chance to write a thank you, I bet they would appreciate it. Once again, exhibitors and families, I want to announce that Hills Bank is taking pictures, and so be sure and stop by Exhibition Hall at their booth and pick up those pictures. They're wonderful for record books and to keep the memories alive. So we thank Hills Bank for doing that. That is a wonderful gift that they give to the fair.
Young lady starts out very knowledgeable about her sheep. She gets them ready really quick. She stands where she's supposed to stand. And as the biggest thing that came down to the last 5 is, how did their sheep look? Is the showman tired? Is the sheep tired? Are they pushing through it, or are they getting just a little lazy? This girl stayed on point every single time I took a look at her. She walks good, really good way to start out. Young man still does a phenomenal job. I had to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a little injured. Oh. I had to give him the benefit of the doubt because of his hand. He's only out here showing one-handed, so hey, that's pretty impressive. But I think he just got a little bit spread out. Neck just needs to be back just a little bit more. Put a hand together for an awesome class. And we got a kid with a broken arm, another kid that got ran over. This is the best sheep show, and we clearly have the toughest kids out here, so that's something special too. I want to thank you guys all for having me today.
Winning our junior showmanship class was Callie Brink. She also will be the premier showman for the juniors. So Callie won both of those. Our second place was Covert Griner. It is so wonderful to see so many junior showmen out there. Stay with it, juniors. Your time will come. Remember, the halters are being given to you by the Cleo McCoy family that were longtime sheep producers in Washington County. Coming up in just a few minutes will be our Clover Kids Sheep Show. Clover Kids is a 4-H youth development program for children in kindergarten through 3rd grade, designed to offer hands-on activities, build life skills, and foster new friendships. The new 4-H year begins in September, so if you have anybody that would be from kindergarten to 3rd grade, please find a Clover Kid group in your area and join. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. Today in our Clover Kids, we'll have Sadie Brink, Paxton Davis, Jack Green, and Tinley McGuire. So they'll be coming out here with their 4-H mentors, and we'll have the judge ask them some questions and see what they learned. The first ones in our ring is a Clover Kid, Sadie Brink, and her 4-H mentor, Callie.